Thank you all. We are going to start off the meeting with the public hearing for the Division 22 standards. Brent, would you like to start us off?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair Watson. There has been a change in Division 22 standards that the ODE ruled on last year. Typically, we do this presentation and this report in February, but they have modified the timing to present this to the board and the community in the fall, because it does relate to the last school year. I think it's a good change. It's something added to the beginning of the year, which is takes a lot of time, but it's nice to have this information that's more relevant just a few months after the last year that we just completed. So we're going to present the Division 22 assurances tonight, and then we'll get, or today, and then we'll get that posted to our website and sent up to ODE. I just first want to recognize this is our first daytime meeting since the fall of 2019, and just so great to have student rep applicants here, and just to it's an exciting day. I think we've been looking forward to this day for a while. But with that, Division 22, which is sometimes not super exciting to students or the board or the public, but it is something that's super important to make sure that we're following the guidelines set forth by the state of Oregon. I'm not going to read through all of these slides. These are posted on the agenda, and it talks about what the Division 22 rules are. A common myth is that there's 22 standards, which is not the case, and they increased those standards this year to 57 standards that school districts must abide by. And I'll share how we stack up to that here in just a little bit. But it is a signal of our commitment to providing a high quality education. There are a number of standards in there, some set by OARs and other rules set by ODE. As I mentioned, they changed the timeline on this. It is more relevant to present this information during the fall after the year we just completed. It has some requirements to share with the board and then post to the public on our website as well. There are some things that were waived last year due to navigating through a pandemic. We also had some special waivers due to our devastating Alameda fire in our region. But the rules were temporarily waived last year for essential skills, the kindergarten assessment, and then the identification of talented and gifted. But those are back in place for this current year. And then in addition, there was some modifications to other requirements, and you see those listed below: PE minutes, instructional hours. As you remember, we sought a waiver for instructional hours from ODE last year because we started a full 2 weeks later than most school districts due to our emergency with the fire. So that was granted. The ODE board of directors was very supportive of that. And we actually made up some of that time because we were in-person learning more than many districts around the state. As you remember, the blueprint isn't the most favorite word of our school teams, but we had to create blueprints, which took the form of Ready Schools and Safe Learners guidance. Our teams worked really hard on that, and they were a comprehensive report on how we were going to operate during the pandemic. And then again, new for last year was a report on restraint and seclusions that we've typically done in this district over the years to give that report. The Every Students Belong policies, and then the suicide prevention plans was new added, but we've had those for many years in this district. Just a timeline again, superintendents report to their board and their community by November 1st. Have a public meeting, which we've opened this meeting with that. public meeting, and then we will post and send the assurance forms into ODE by the mid November, which we'll probably actually do tomorrow because that's all set. I do want to thank just our team. Tiffany Lambert was a big part of creating this report and gathering all the documents. We have a comprehensive folder at the district office that I offer board and community to come peruse. Not too many takers typically, but it is there for your enjoyment if you want to come and see that binder. It's will set us up in the future. I think the standards will remain the same for a while, and so we have a good comprehensive document to moving forward. Leading into this slide is really we've had the pleasure of completing the most comprehensive Division 22 standards in probably district history, because there's a tremendous amount of new guidelines and rules set by ODE. I'm happy to share that we are in compliance with all of the 57 standards. Those that we wouldn't have been waived anyway, instructional hours, assessments, and that sort of thing. Looking ahead to this year, we are in good shape to complete and be in compliance. We always look at our instructional hours, which typically we do not have much wiggle room on total hours required for the year for each level. But with this year, we've modified our middle and high school schedules, and so we're in a better position. Elementary, we've always been pretty good on instructional hours. We've always been on that line with the secondary, but with the new schedules, it's allowing more instructional time to happen, which is good. So if we have an emergency closure or something like that, we're not in danger of going below that instructional hour time. This is just a few pictures of the year. You know, we went through an amazing year last year, and as you just, you know, ever have time to reflect and breathe and see everything that was accomplished, it truly is amazing. And just thankful for this team, thankful for this community, thankful for the support of the board to be able to navigate through a tough year and really comply with the Division 22 standards. So with that, I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Mr. Berry? Hearing none. We'll now open this for public comment. This public comment is just for Division 22. We will have other public comment in a little while in our regular board meeting. So is there anyone that has public comment on the Division 22 standards and compliance? I'm seeing none, correct? There's none. Thank you very much. We're closing the public hearing on Division 22, and we will now open our regular board meeting. I'm asking everyone who would like to comment in the public comments to, it might be a little easier to start signing up now in our chat so that we're not waiting for everyone to sign up. So thank you very much. If you'd like to do a public comment, please start signing up now in the chat. Accentuate the positive. Oh, this is in person and I love it. So Mr. Walker, would you like to start us off? Sorry if I caught you off guard.
And if you could come probably to this mic right here would be good. Or there's another one over there by the students, but actually that's perfect. Yeah.
Check this. We're good? All right. Well, good to see you aboard. Toby Walker, principal here at the Pirate Ship. I might have to adjust this actually. 1 second.
No problem. We're not used to this public meeting thing with all of you guys being able to join us. So,
you know, my confidence is booming. I just lifted a mic up. Ad team, Let's make note of that. I had to lift the mic. It was maxed out on the bottom. But anyway, here we are. Lots of great things to share on the pirate ship. But as you can see, we have some students here today. You're going to get a chance to meet some of PHS finest in just a bit. I do want to share, last week was homecoming week. The energy was amazing. Our students did awesome. The activities that our leadership students and leadership advisor, Lisa Robin, put together did a phenomenal job rebuilding some student energy, excitement. It's just getting more pirate pride back in this building. As we talked about, last year we had kids back, but we really couldn't get our school spirit back up and going. We're not there yet. We still have some work to do. But last week was just a glimmer of what this group of kids is excited to do. So all the events, want to thank Lisa Robin, want to thank the leadership students, the homecoming crowning. So it was great. Next year, we're hopeful to have every single event, but we're looking forward to that. I want to read a letter. It's a short one from a new student. I will leave the school nameless from where they transferred from. There are many, many reasons why I left blank. The bottom line, it was way, way too big and overwhelming. I'm more of an introvert, so I couldn't make a good connection with students. It also didn't fit my learning style. So far, I love Phoenix. It has many amazing programs, such as the veterinary programs, art opportunities, and many, many clubs. Right when I went to my first class, the students were beyond friendly. They came up to me, asked me questions, and involved me in the conversation. That had never happened at blank school. The teachers were so friendly and welcoming. I had made lots of acquaintances. I have a feeling this is going to be an amazing school to stay at. Now, I'll tell you about my interest. This is a new student that just transferred to us. I don't know about you guys, but transferring to a new high school would be really scary for me. So it just shows our staff, our students are doing the right work. We're building a community of support, relationships, and welcoming new students. So super proud of our students and really proud of our staff. That's it from the ship.
Thank you. Let's see, who's next? Yeah, thank you. It's hard for me to see, I'm sorry. It's easier when you guys used to pick each other.
Good morning, Chair Watson and members of the board. Thank you very much. Also very proud of some best of some former Bulldogs, although I shouldn't probably take credit for Mr. Santi and Ms. Lowe's work, but glad to see you here, even though I might not know some of you. But it's a pleasure to supply you with a little information. I know that I've talked about band before. I just want to give you some hard numbers and data so that you can know that your return on the investment of future band students will pay off. So right now we have 95 kids in band at the middle school. So I think over the coming years as they matriculate, you'll see that return on investment. So it's going very well. I also want to highlight and brag about some of our students in our TLC program. They're participating in our exploratory classes and many other classes. I want to express my appreciation to Marina Piacentini, Garrett Cooper, and Rich Hobbins. With Marina's expertise, Rich and Garrett have done some great work with integrating classrooms and thereby including those students in the real fabric of Talent Middle School. And that's important, and it's a blessing we have those people and those students getting that experience. So thank you very much. I know we have some great students to hear from, so I will introduce Mr. Sani. You want to do Virtual Academy next? Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe we can have those that want to speak to kind of get in the line over here.
Good morning, board. This is such a formal program. Normally we hardly even stand up, but now we got to walk up here and speak in a microphone. So it's good to meet several of you board members in person who we've not actually seen in person before. Rebecca, I'm Aaron Santi, principal at Phoenix Talent Rising Academy, as well as director of magnet programs for the district. And it is actually really cool to see these former Bulldogs out here. There's some smart ones. You guys are going to have some good choices here. Really quickly, our Phoenix Talent Rising Academy elementary students and our ODP youngers went out to Pheasant Field Farms on Friday. If you guys haven't been to the pumpkin patch in a while, it is a cool trip. Take your family. I had a good time. Did not get a pumpkin though. Also, I want to thank Joe Zavala, our communications specialist. He has got our new PTRA Facebook page up and running. So if you haven't already liked that, make sure you go check that out. And apparently everybody in PTRA now is posting to that. So other than me, I'm not a Facebook guy, but there's going to be a lot of pictures, cool things to check out there. Finally, I want to recognize Faith Milton, our K through 2 teacher at PTRA. I was able to observe a kindergarten math class, and you guys can imagine teaching kindergarten online to 5-year-olds. It's pretty amazing. She did such an amazing job of engaging those kids. Those kids know how to mute and unmute. They know how to raise their hand. They know how to do it physically and the little feature on Google Meet. They know how to take turns. They know how to show their math manipulatives on their camera so that the teacher can see it. It's really pretty stunning, actually. And I think a lot of kindergarten teachers would wish that they had the mute function that Faith has. So it's really cool. I want to thank her for the work she does. And our virtual program is going strong. So let's move on. Looks like our elementary crowd. So how about Miss Lowe?
We should have got Mr. Santi a referee's mic. He could have done this that way.
This is incredibly funny. Very formal. Good morning, Madam Chair Watson, Heather Lowe from Talent Elementary. It is so cool to see these guys. So proud of you. I want to follow up a little bit, a comment from Kent, also to celebrate band. I don't know if you guys are aware, maybe we've shared this before, but Mike DeRost is coming to the elementary schools and teaching all of the 5th graders band. So that program is going to get a lot beefier, and I'm really excited about that as a former band geek myself. So I also wanted to share that we are having a trunk or treat event at Talent Elementary on the 29th. Come by, because traditionally we have a really cool Halloween parade at Talent, which is it's my favorite holiday. Same with Mr. Santi. I think that's because we both started at Talent and love to dress up with kids. So we're going to invite families to come to the back parking lot, have their trunks open, and pass out little prizes or treats. And everybody gets to be dressed up and socially distant. So we're going to start that right about 1 o'clock. So if you want to come by and watch really cute kids in costumes, you are welcome. Also, I want to recognize Kathleen Lemke. She is, we'll share more about the leadership team at JAB, but she is leading our family engagement team, and she's the one organizing the trunk or treat with her team. And just want to give her a big shout out because her team is going to be participating in the equity series through the ESD. So really tying our DEI work with family engagement. So super big shout out to her. And then lastly, I just really want to recognize our new 1st grade teachers, their new hires, new teachers, Mackenzie Stewart and Miguel Gutierrez. They were student teachers with us last year, which is like the hardest year to ever student teach. And then this year is like the hardest year to ever be a 1st-year teacher. So I just want to recognize the work that they're doing, and they're really rising. So thank you. Jonna? I might have to lower this down. Actually, I'm just joking. Hey, good morning, Madam Chair Watson and the rest of the board. It is so wonderful to be here in person. It feels like it's been a really long time. My name is Shauna Schleif. I'm the principal at Phoenix Elementary School. And first thing I'd like to share is that we've been undergoing a lot of construction. And so I just want to give a big shout out to John McCaleb and his team, and then our crews from Outlier, who are doing a wonderful job of doing our seismic upgrade, which finished literally the week before school started. But then our cafeteria has been being worked on, and it is beautiful in there. So if you have a chance, please come by and see our brand new cafeteria. We were honored to be able to eat inside yesterday for the first time because our tents failed, and so we had to do this mad dash of moving our operations indoors. But the students and staff are really welcoming of that awesome space. So thank you to those who participated in that. We also are going to be celebrating with our traditional Halloween parade next Friday. So I look forward to seeing kids dressed up and adults dressed up and having some fun around school. I want to give a big shout out to Christy Dixon. It feels like things are returning to normal. So we have the book fair going on this week, and you'd think it's like Christmas in October. Kids are super excited about just getting together, looking at the books and all of the trinkets and stuff. And we have kids asking money from each other, and that's a fun thing to deal with. But it's a good time, and so that's happening. So if you want to buy some Scholastic books, feel free to come down to PES. Lastly, or actually I have two more things. One more thing, I want to give a shout out to Rogue Valley Farm to School. We have now started a composting program, and so I'm happy to report that PES compost is now going to feed pigs in the local area. So that's kind of cool. Our 3rd and 4th graders are participating in our garden club and learning a lot, partnering with Rogue Valley Farm to School. And then finally, field trips galore are happening. We've done Salmon Watch, we've done trips to SOU Farm, we've done trips to the pumpkin patch, but we're almost, I would say, 80% of our students have been able to participate in a field trip so far this year, and that's a big difference from the last couple of years. So that's it from PES.
Thank you.
Good morning, board. Kurt Shank, principal at Orchard Hill. And Rebecca, I'm really sorry because I know I haven't mentioned, I'm sitting back there and I asked one of my colleagues, hey, who's that? That's how we haven't been connected. So it just is awesome to be here and to be in person. So I appreciate this opportunity very much. I'd like to start out with a shout out to Sarah Engstrom. Sarah Engstrom was a kindergarten teacher for the past 6-7 years at Orchard Hill, and she replaced Chris Dosey as the Title I specialist. And she is just doing a phenomenal job. It's a lot of work in that position, and she's just taking it on and really making things roll like they should be. So really want to appreciate her. Other things I want to comment on, a trunk or treat. We are going to be doing that next week. We have a spirit week going on next week, dress up days, and our trunk or treat will be in the evening. So after you go to TES during the daytime, if you want to come over and get more candy at Orchard Hill, I'm telling you, I've never seen so much candy get donated. We have a tub back in there in the staff room, and every morning, like there's huge bags that they haul off. So the kids are going to be raking in the candy, I think, at the Thursday night trunk or treat. So I want to mention that. Want to thank Sodexo. They're just doing a phenomenal job of serving our students at our new cafeteria. It's all new, procedures for us, but we had a couple glitches right at the beginning of the year, but they've done a phenomenal job. They're serving great meals given the limitations and restrictions. And so I want to give a shout out to Sodexo and Amy and her crew for all they're doing over at Orchard Hill. Speaking of field trips, it's funny, we all are mentioning field trips, but we had a group of first graders, a couple classes that went out yesterday. Now, they didn't get anything as kindergartners, right? So this is their first field trip on a bus. Those little guys were bouncing off the walls. They were so excited about heading to SOU Farm, and they had a great time, came back with pumpkins and just had to share all the wonderful things they did. So that was a lot of fun. And I want to finish up by just recognizing my custodians, Nick Elliott and Mario Ortiz, for doing a phenomenal job and just keeping our building clean, sanitized, and doing a wonderful job. And a special shout out to Mario. Him and I did try to take down our tents that was mentioned earlier. What a fiasco. I haven't looked at the camera yet. I don't really think I want to because I don't think our plan on our first one worked very well. But anyway, he broke from his schedule and it went out and helped me kind of try to break those down. It was pretty funny, but a good time. So lots of things going great at Orchard Hill and board. Thank you for your opportunity and to speak and be here in person. So it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy or Dave, did you guys want to speak? I want to put you on the spot, but okay, Sodexo. I apologize. I did not recognize you in person. We've been talking about this the whole time.
Well, good afternoon. And actually, this is probably the first time I've been in person here with everyone. So thank you for having me. For Sodexo, some fun news. Thanks to Aaron and Denny, we were able to actually add week packs to our distance academy. So we were really excited to offer that for the kids that can't be in person and still try to get them some of those, healthy, nutritious school meals. And then we've been working heavily with, thanks to Debbie Rogers, to get our CACFP approval back. Probably doesn't mean a lot to everyone, but it's our after school program. So we didn't have that all last year with COVID, and we've been working really hard to get that back up and going for the after school program. So we're really excited to get that going here this month now. And I also want to give a big thank you to all of our local farmers. We've actually had a lot of wonderful produce here for the start of the year from our local farmers, Namas Pears, Fry Family Farms, Little Sweet Peppers. And I have to tell you this story real quick. This little kid in one of the elementaries, as I was telling him about it, he's like, "That's the water peppers, right?" I'm like, "Sweet peppers." He's like, "No, I think that's the water peppers." And he goes and he grabs one and he eats it, and he's like, "It is! It's those water peppers. They're so good." It was so cute. So he was really excited, and it's really fun to see the kids in person enjoying some of that local produce. Then we also have to thank JL Orchards for their wonderful apples and plums and nectarines as well. And last, I'd just like to give a big shout out and thanks to all of the staff in the kitchens. We've been working probably shorter than we used to, staff-wise, before COVID, and yet they've all been doing it with huge smiles on their face. They're always eager to add extra programs. We've got some fun and exciting things coming up for the holidays that we're going to try to do some fun meals. So hopefully everyone likes that. And, you know, we're excited to keep seeing the kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Madam Chair Watson, board. I'm Randy Waite, assistant principal here at the high school. I do want to shout out to, we had an opportunity day, the first Friday of October, which is a time for students to be able to either be rewarded for good grades or have an opportunity to meet with teachers. We have our second one coming this Friday. So we got a lot of good feedback from the first one. There was definitely some glitches. Hopefully we have those ironed out. We're going to try again on Friday. We're trying every 3 weeks to try to make some deadlines so students can stay on top of things and not wait till the last week before, and we have 2 weeks left before the end of the quarter. So the staff has been great doing that. Tammy Ingerson has worked really hard on helping with the opportunity day. So we're excited about that. I think it's an opportunity for our kids to have some fun at the end of the day this Friday, but also have some time to work one-on-one with teachers if they need to go make some stuff up or get some extra help. So that's what's going on. I think it's a good thing. And thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Dave Earhart, assistant principal here at the high school, district athletic director. And our fall sports are winding down, and we've really had a fun season. Like Toby said, we're getting really close to feeling normal. We've been able to overcome some transportation challenges. We've had nearly every game scheduled, and we're really excited about that, just being able to do that. Our senior nights are coming up. Last Thursday, we had senior night in volleyball. Tonight's senior night in girls soccer, and next Monday is senior night for boys soccer, and then next Friday for football. So we are moving through the fall sports season, lots of good postseason stuff coming up. A couple other things to mention. Our youth sports are going really well. We had about 150 kids participate in our junior pirate program so far, and we just opened up more camps. We're going to start a basketball camp in a couple weeks. Then after the holidays, we have baseball, softball, soccer, and some more cheerleading. So some really good stuff going on. And the last thing, we sent out an email yesterday about our Sportsmanship and Leadership Conference we have coming up here at the high school on November 10th. So we'll look forward to sharing more information about that. Our entire conference, the 3 Klamath schools, as well as us and the 2 schools from the Grants Pass area will be taking part as we address some issues that are out there nationally, around the state, and in our communities as well, about respect and moving forward together in equity in sports. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I know we have one person online, but is there anyone else in the room that would like to do accentuate the positive? Okay. Miss Darby Air Flood asked if she could join the accentuate the positive. So Darby, good morning.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you for allowing me a few minutes. I come before you, the esteemed board, as the mayor of Talent, to read a resolution that was unanimously adopted last night at the city council meeting. Before I read this to your record, I just want to say how proud we are that Superintendent Brent Berry has achieved Superintendent of the Year for the state of Oregon. And when we heard that he was up for the national appointment, we immediately understood what our role could be in spreading the word. And so last night we adopted this following resolution. Resolution number 2021-036-R, a resolution recognizing the contributions of Brent Berry to the City of Talent. Whereas, due in large part to the leadership of Brent Berry, the Phoenix Talent School District supported and continue to support City of Talent families after the devastating Albedo fire. And whereas about 1/3 of the school district students, staff, and families lost their homes to the Albedo fire, and whereas Brent and his staff contacted every family in the district within 1 week of the fire, and whereas Brent and his staff set up wireless routers in local, sorry, I lost my place here. I'm scrolling on my computer. Whereas Brent and his staff set up wireless routers in local motels and RV parks, creating tutoring centers and connectivity stations, and distributed Wi-Fi hotspots and Chromebooks to displaced families and staff who needed them. And whereas Brent and his staff were able to get students back in online classes 2 weeks after the fire, whereas Brent and his staff helped raise and distribute $2 million directly to families affected by the fires, and whereas Brent and his staff have been active partners in helping bring displaced talent families back to our community, and whereas Brent was awarded Oregon Superintendent of the Year and is in the running for National Superintendent of the Year, and whereas the city wishes to acknowledge Brent's service to the City of Talent and its community members, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council recognizes the many contributions Brent Berry to the Brent Berry to the City of Talent and provides him our strongest endorsement for National Superintendent of the Year. Duly enacted by the City Council in open session on October 20th, 21, by the following vote, which was unanimous. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me the opportunity to come in and share this heartfelt endorsement for Brent Berry in this potential for the National Superintendent of the Year. Our hope is that I can get the appropriate contact for those who are preparing the application so that I can provide you with a copy of this resolution adopted last night at the City Council. There are no adequate words that can express our gratitude for all of the incredible work that the school district has done for our community under the leadership of Brent Berry. And I thank you for this opportunity to participate on behalf of the city, to participate in his application. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Thank you, Mayor Aris Flood, and just appreciate, just so thankful for this board and as you mentioned, team in that resolution many times. Just thank you for our partnership. Feel honored to be carrying this award in Oregon, but it's truly a district and a community honor. So thank you to you and your council, and appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have accentuate the positive before I close it out and go to public comment? Turn your mic on. Thank you.
Homecoming game on Friday was fantastic to go to, and I think it was 48. Dave's already gone, but 48 cheerleaders led by Macy Thompson heading up that program. Super fun to see things getting back to normal, and just really excited for what the future holds for our district.
I just want to add to that. I had an opportunity to bring the girls to homecoming, and I know we had some community members who really organized a lot of support to get a lot of community members to the game, and it was wonderful to see. The outcome of the game wasn't what we wanted, but the kids played really hard, and just so good to see people gathered for a regular event, and tremendous job by the staff too. It's a lot of work to run those events too, and they did a tremendous job. So looking forward to more and more of those things in the future. But yes, it was a wonderful event.
I think we all are looking forward to more and more of those events. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we will move to citizens' comments. As a reminder, the meeting of the board of directors are meetings in public versus public meetings. Any comments from those joining us virtually will come under public meeting laws. Please know that comments will be heard during citizen comment time on the agenda only and must be limited to 3 minutes, a total of 30 minutes total for all comments. Please do not expect the board to respond to your comments at this time. The board cannot hear in public complaints directed towards an employee. Those complaints should be presented to the employee's immediate supervisor in person or in writing. If you wish to provide public comment, please sign up. I know some of you already have, so thank you very much. If you haven't, this is your time to sign up in the chat. All oral comments and chat comments are electronically recorded, just a reminder. When I call your name, please unmute yourself, have your cameras turned on, and speak clearly. For the record, state your name and the organization if you represent any. If you've submitted written comments, please summarize instead of reading word for word. We do get your written comments as well. Please be respectful and limit your comments to 3 minutes. As a reminder, you may also submit written comment by completing the comment form, which is located on our website under School Board tab. Written comments should be submitted no later than 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. Comments received will be shared to the board. And I see that there was some comments already. I think the first person would be Jen Sosa.
Hi, I'm sorry, my camera is not working, so next time I'll try to be more prepared. But I am a parent of a middle schooler at Talent and a high schooler at Phoenix. And I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to the board because I have only recently began joining these meetings, and the amount of time and effort you put in is just commendable because it's amazing to see how much goes in behind the scenes. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Berry. I think he does a great job representing our district, and I know every time I've personally reached out to him, I receive an immediate response. So just wanted to throw that in. Also, I guess this is kind of an accentuate the positive. For us, homecoming was also really fun to come back to a new stadium and see so many community members and fellow alumni. It was just really fun. Hopefully next year we can get the parade and then, get the community involved even more. So I guess just being new to the process, I'm trying to understand how everything with the school board works. So I apologize if my question seems basic, but from my understanding, there's different districts that each of the board members represent. And my thought would be the purpose is to represent the people who reside in that district. I'm just wondering how we're getting feedback or giving feedback, I guess. I know there was talk of a town hall meeting, but as far as I know, that has not happened. We had the listening session, which was great to express our opinions or concerns, but there wasn't really a response. So I guess I would just love to see something like that where more parents felt encouraged to show up and, kind of say how things are happening at the schools. I've just spoken to several parents, and I know a handful of families who have moved out of the district just because they feel like they're not being heard and things are not being addressed as they would hope. And it's sad to me because these are families who, they've sponsored teams, they've volunteered and donated their time. And so I just want to make sure we're not losing more of those kids who are feeling like they're falling in the shadows. I know we sometimes are frustrated just because we feel like we're not really being represented or having a chance to be represented, I guess. And I guess if we could just organize some sort of discussion, that would be my request. And I just think that, in a district that really prides itself on inclusion, I feel like we could do better. Lately there's just been a lot of, especially at the middle school, segregation, discrimination, and I don't want to see that happen in our district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next is Zach Moody.
Thank you, board chair and board. I appreciate the opportunity to comment. And I'd just like to add on to what Jen said about what the high school did for the kids for homecoming. I believe, at least from my kids, they had a good homecoming week. And I also want to thank the group of parents that put together an offsite homecoming dance. They absolutely killed it for the kids that didn't get an opportunity to have their typical homecoming dance. So we really appreciate the efforts of those parents that put that together. I wanted to take a moment to clarify some statements that were made last week and early this week on social media. Many social media comments were made about the rally that happened last Friday at the school, at the high school and the elementary school, stating that it was pointless because we were just holding that rally for one person. And I think that ultimately this was a case of supporting a number of parents, a number of teachers who are in the situation where they have a medical exemption. They're allowed to work, but they were forced to sign a medical exemption or a religious exemption in order to keep their jobs. And so I don't see that really as a win for the district when the district's forcing people to either submit to segregation and discrimination or lose their job. As parents, we have zero tolerance for any type of discrimination or segregation, and we're going to continue to push for equal employment opportunities since that used to be a thing, and hope that we can get that back. We do not support any type of segregation or discrimination and demand equal treatment of all employees and students, regardless of their vaccination or other statuses. But we do understand that some board members might be hesitant to stand up and speak what they believe is right because of the social and the national narratives that are being spoken. But let's be clear, although this is a specific conversation is about policies for vaccinated versus unvaccinated, it really is more of a policy. It's really more about the school district making policy decisions that are really counter to their equity and inclusion policies that they've adopted. The school board seems to think that equity and inclusion are only necessary when it fits a national or state narrative or when the school board association or the teachers union say that it's so. As parents, we're going to continue to stand up for these teachers and staff and our medical, police, and fire employees that are all victims of the very equity and inclusion issues the school board has said that they're trying to fix. It's time for a change, and it really is time for the community and the parents members to speak up against these new norms that allow laws to be broken when it fits a specific narrative. But it's also time for the school board to listen to the parents and the community members and to stand up against the recommendations that promote segregation and discrimination. It's time for the school board to be part of the solution, not the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? Lisa Jennings, did you want to speak?
Well, I wasn't going to. I had put a comment just because I know our group has spoke multiple times and we've asked for the board to respond in writing to our questions, and not one time have you guys responded after the meetings weeks following. So of course us as parents feel like you guys are just sweeping us under the rug and don't really care what we have to say. So that's why we have to keep pushing, and pushing forward, because it really is affecting our children. My son is one of the happiest kids out there, and he told me yesterday, he said, "Mom, school sucks." And he goes, made me want to cry. And he said, the principal, I guess now they used to be able to take mask breaks, and I asked if this was a district thing to another teacher at the elementary school, and she said no. He is now implemented.
I'm going to call a point of order. We can't hear complaints about individual.
I didn't say who. Oh, I guess I did. But anyways, my son had told me a teacher told him that they no longer can take a ball out to their mask break. They now only have 5 minutes, and they have to stand in one spot and not move. Now, we are mentally screwing up our children by doing stuff like that. I mean, we need the board to be fighting for us as parents and our kids, fighting back against these mandates. I mean, we had to save our kids. Our kids are mentally becoming messed up by us not supporting them, and having them stand alone for 5 minutes outside to get a mask break. Oh, I want to know why this was implemented. So, you know, we'd like responses to our questions. Sorry, I have a cold right now. And it would be nice if one of the board members would get back to us regarding our questions, so we don't feel like we're just being swept under the rug and not heard. Thanks.
Thank you. And I will remind you that comments can be made to the principal or to the superintendent's office if you have a complaint or if you'd like to discuss a policy or a procedure. Any other citizen comments? Hearing none, I will close public comments and go to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to echo the thoughts on homecoming. I thought it was an amazing week, and as you know, a lot goes into that. And so the work of the students and the staff, just commend them. Also want to commend Dave Earhart for having the forethought of we know people are struggling. We didn't have a gate or people pay to get in. And so just the forethought of just really opening that to the whole community was appreciated for, not only students and families, but just our whole community. So thanks to Dave Earhart on that forethought. Along with Division 22 reporting, ESSER 3 report was due yesterday. And those are two really big reports by the ODE. I might add too, we have shared with the ODE about all the reporting, the numerous reports that are required for the staff and to report to ODE. And so hopefully that will be a little bit more streamlined, but just want to commend staff again, Tiffany Lambert, and the work of really the SIA team that guided that ESSER 3, because our strategic plan met a lot of the criteria. So thanks to that team that put so much time in, and that student investment account team that worked so hard to really kind of gather input and look at data. Want to also mention ODE has provided some flexibility on teacher and administrative evaluations. And so we're looking at what that flexibility might be. It doesn't throw the evaluation process out, which was an option last year. Our district didn't choose that option. We still had evaluations, but there may be some flexibility on the number of requirements there. So if we choose to utilize, implement that flexibility, we'll come to the board and share what that is. Want to also mention, as you know, we were looking at the Coal Mine Road property recently. A deal fell through. We do have a real strong buyer that approached us this week, and we just had an initial kind of conversation yesterday, and look forward to possibly bringing something to the board at our next meeting. So it's somebody that's been involved really from day one, and Denise has done an amazing job communicating and sharing, reaching out again, and it could be a real strong possibility. Want to give you an update quickly on the job meeting that the community centers that we've been really looking for a space to have our joint administrative board meeting in November 18th, I think, today. At this time with COVID precautions, not allowing groups into their community centers, that we reached out to the manor, and that's the same stance they have as well. So we'll look to have a setup possibly here at the high school for that meeting, but that's just a heads up on that. And ATI we reached out to that we'll be happy to share at that time too. So that'll be good. We're working on an MOU with the Classified Association with some greater flexibility of some postings that allow us to have some more applicants to fill much needed positions in our schools. So if that comes to fruition, we will share that with you next time. Finally, I want to share, as we have all been wondering what the impact of and maybe you haven't been wondering, but I have, the impact of the Alameda fire and how it impacts our bond levy responsibility. And so we just got some recent information that Jasmine and I have been going through. And I might add, over the last 2 years, when we had that bond language in place and estimated that levy rate, we've been 7 or 8 cents less than that since the implementation of that bond. It will have a slight increase this year, but when we analyzed the numbers, we were very, very happy to see that it didn't have a gigantic impact, which it could. The county's been great. If there's a dip in that property tax and that value, it'd be this year. So we're hopeful that it'll continue to stay at a good rate, and it's still significantly under the bond promise. So I'll share more information once we get that analysis, but you will have, when the tax forms come out soon, if they haven't already, in the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to share that with the board. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Brent? Hearing none, we will move to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is to approve today's agenda, the approval of minutes for 10/7/21, and the personnel report, which was in our blue folders. Do I hear a motion?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sarah. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, we will accept the consent agenda, and moving on to action items. Our student representatives. We're so excited to have you guys here today.
Thank you for now you know what you're getting into.
Yes.
It's super fun.
Typically, the student reps come in afterwards and don't sit for the entire meeting. So we appreciate you guys sitting through all of this. We'll start off on just talking a little bit about introducing ourselves as the board, and then we will get on to the interview questions. I know you guys are ready to go. So who would like to start? Polly, would you like to? Oh, I'll start. I always like to go last, but I'm Dawn Watson. I'm the chair of the school board. I'm going on my 9th year as a school board member. I have 2 kids. Well, actually, I have 1 kid in the district. I have 1 kid that just graduated, and I keep on forgetting. He would remind me that he's in college now. But so yes, I've been doing that, and my kids have been through. One started at Orchard Hill Elementary in kindergarten, and the other one started at Talent Elementary, and have gone all the way through all of our schools. Thank you, Polly.
I'm Polly Fairmont. I am a lifelong resident of Talent. My brothers and sisters and I started at Elementary, Talent Junior High, and Phoenix High School. I was elected to the board last summer, and I have 2 daughters. One who is both are graduates from Phoenix High School. One is also working here, Celine, and Carly, who is at U of O right now attending college. I'm just happy that you're here. I know Carly had the opportunity to do this while she was here in high school, and I'm just excited to hear about your stories. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Rick, would you like to go next?
Sure.
And thank you for joining. Oh, I think we got to turn on your mic. Oh, thank you.
Testing, is it good?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Rick Nagle, and first of all, I want to apologize for being late, but I'm here.
Thank you for being here.
I graduated from Phoenix High School in 1954, so quite a while ago. And I've been on the board for 22 years now. And I've had grandchildren go through the Phoenix Talent, and I went there, and a lot of relatives, and I'm on the board because I really believe strongly in education for our youth. I think it's a must, and it's got to be a good one, and I think we offer that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Crawford. I have three children who went through the district and are now graduates. My husband coaches baseball for the district, and I've served on the board for 5 years, and we're total groupies. So if you invite us to something, we're going to show up. So just really appreciate serving the board, serving the district as a board member, and really, really looking forward to hearing and getting to know you guys.
Good morning. I'm Michael Campbell. I was appointed to this board on March 5th of 2020. And 8 days later, the world turned upside down. We've been through a lot in this district, but I'm so proud of all of you students, your families, and our community for the tremendous support. But I previously served on the Medford School Board for 3 years before my wife and I moved into the district, and we have 2 young kids. Nora is going to turn 5, so she'll start kindergarten next year at Orchard Hill, and really excited about that. And I didn't know a school board existed in high school until graduation, when some old dude handed me my diploma, and I was like, "Who are these people?" So I say that because, no offense to anybody, I say that because it's so important to understand school governance. I'm so thankful that all of you are interested in serving in this role, because it's a very important role. It's important for us to hear your voice in some of the decisions that we make. So thank you for doing this. I'm looking forward to hearing from you all.
Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Weathers. This is my first year serving on the school board. I have 2 daughters at Talent Elementary School. I went through from Talent Elementary to high school, and I've lived in Talent my whole life. So I look forward to learning this process with you guys.
Nancy.
Buenos dias. My name is Nancy McKennis, and I'm really thrilled to get to be here and to learn from you. I have been on the board for about a year. I was kind of chuckling at when Michael said, I was appointed in March and then the world turned upside down. I was appointed in September, 5 days before the Albedo fire, and it has been quite a wonderful experience, a great learning experience. It has been challenging, but I think all the things that are worthy can sometimes be challenging as well. So I welcome you. I am so grateful for your interest, for your desire to represent other youth like yourself and youth that don't look like you. And I'm just really thrilled to be here and be of service to you in community and to serve alongside these wonderful group of people. So, bienvenidos, welcome.
Thank you. So, just to give you a little what we're doing, I think I talked to you guys before the meeting. I will have you introduce yourself, then we will ask you one question, and then we will all pick our top 3. We will have a little break for a second, calculate, and then get back to you immediately who we pick. So good luck, and hopefully you're not too nervous. We're all just super excited that you guys are here, and we look forward to this. And we do have one, I'm going to remind, we do have Joseph on the online on Skype that is joining us. So the question, I guess I'll read the question. I had it up, sorry. So the question is, as I mentioned earlier before the meeting, is if you were given a magic wand and money was not an issue, what would you do to improve or change PHS and why?
And do we have a time guideline on how long we're wanting them to take to answer the question?
We never talked about a time guideline.
I think we did last time. I think it was
We were going to give
2.
them about a minute or 2, just for the amount of them that they
Okay,
were, so.
for the
2
question, for the
minutes.
question and introducing themselves.
You want to say 2 minutes?
For total?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will be giving you 2 minutes to answer the question and introduce yourself. Should I just call them by order I have? I'm just going to call you by order that I have, and I apologize if I don't say your name right. Please correct me. Brianna, can you go up to the mic and introduce? Oh, right
Yeah,
there.
I think they
Perfect.
can pass that mic right there. Yeah.
That's
So
an awesome idea.
Hello.
Good job.
My name is Brianna Gall, and I'm a sophomore. And one thing that I would really like to change or just like help with at the school is like, I know going from the pandemic and the Albedo fires, like transitioning from like online school to going in person is really overwhelming sometimes to a lot of people, especially like work and school for everyone. And so having people being more welcoming and like supportive for the students would be a really great thing. And everyone's doing like a really great job with helping us with like counseling and stuff. But we could definitely have more support and people be more understanding about how much of a workload it is. Like going from it being pretty, like the workload last year was a lot easier, that's for sure, because we didn't have as many classes. And this year we went straight into 7 classes all day. And so it was definitely overwhelming and still is sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people can agree with me on that. So just like changing, maybe like having more support for the students and like making sure that everyone knows the support they have and how much, making sure like they understand how much it really is for a student, especially with mental health and a lot of things like that, is very important for students to like get help with. So yeah,
Thank you very much. That's great. Jacob. Oh, I guess I could. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I just became an FFA officer too. I raise pigs and lambs. And one thing that I would do is I would change the math curriculum because our math teachers aren't actually teaching us. They hand us problems and tell us, go get it. So that's honestly it. I'm here to help voice students' opinions that aren't confident enough or are too scared to speak to adults about their problems. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, we don't have to go in order. If it's easier just to hand the mic. That works.
Hello, I'm Ruby Rector. I'm a junior. If I had a magic wand to change something in school, I wouldn't necessarily change it. I would want to improve the communication between students and the administration. Just because I feel like there's a lot of miscommunication when it comes to students participating in things. Personally, like with Spirit Weeks, I felt like there was a lot of disagreements of what was appropriate. So if we could change that, I would. Yeah, I feel like there's students are sometimes feel like they don't always have the say in what they want, and so I feel like by being on the school board, that's a way to help that problem.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Ava Robinson. I'm a sophomore. I've been in the Phoenix Talent School District since kindergarten. If I had a magic wand and I could fix or like improve or change one thing in our school, I would go with what Jacob was saying, but I think that the testing of the math curriculum this year was a good idea on paper maybe, and I understand that it was from research that someone at Stanford did because I've talked to people about it. But currently, I've talked to multiple kids, and I do not think that it's an efficient way to teach high school math. It is very difficult to be in Algebra 2 and not learning how to graph, but instead doing the same problems that Geometry and Algebra 1 are doing on a whiteboard, and then getting something called learning targets, also known as tests, and not knowing how to do a single graph. And every single kid in my class getting an F on the graphing learning target, which is a big part of the grade. So I definitely feel like that for the math curriculum, more work and research should go into it from the kids' perspective, because I really understand that from an adult perspective, doing hands-on learning definitely is better, especially with really doing all virtual. But I feel like maybe we should do more before we further continue it. So I'd love to do some more research in that. The other thing that I would love to see maybe improve is gender like equality in sports. There has been a lot of changing of what girls and boys can or cannot do in a sport. For instance, I'm on the cross country team, and for the past year, I've been told that boys are allowed to run with their shirts off, but girls are not allowed to run with their shirts off because it makes residents in Phoenix uncomfortable. So I feel like that kind of gender changing around. So I'd just like to see more maybe involving what kids' perspectives are more than adults, and seeing if we can make like an agreement between the two. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Ava Robinson.
Hi, my name is Courtney House. I've been at the Phoenix Talent School District since kindergarten. And one thing I would love to see change at Phoenix High School is the support for staff, because personally, I think the staff is drowning in their work and they seem very unhappy. And I think teachers are a big part of how students learn, and they're a big support for students. And if the teachers are not feeling supported, then students are not able to learn well. And I know that I've talked to teachers and they don't feel very supported, and they feel like they don't have a lot. They just have like a lot on their plate right now. And I know personally it's affecting students' learning, because we need our students to be taught well. And that's a big part of our education. And I would also like to see gender equality within the school. I know that there's a couple of transgender students, and I would like to see them have more support within our students and our staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I'm really flattered to be here. It's really overwhelming. I was here last year, and I'm just happy to be here in person right now.
Can you state your name again, please?
My name is Sedalia. I am a part of band, and I'm a junior this year. And if I had a magic wand, I would want to make sure that this school is as comfortable to the students as it can be. I'd want the students to be able to feel comfortable to have a voice and speak their mind when they're hurt or if they're struggling. I want them to be able to feel confident to express themselves. I want the students to be able to just feel like comfortable with the other students, with the staff. I want them to know that this is a safe place for them, and that they can grow, and that they can express themselves as adults when they get to that point. Because I feel like every single student really deserves that. They deserve to have a place, and they deserve to feel accepted and fit in, and they deserve to feel like they are a part of it, you know? I feel that not enough students feel like they're taken seriously, and I really wish that could be something that could change, because I really do want the students to feel like they are taken seriously by everybody, students, staff, teachers, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, is your last name Gorman? Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I had the right.
Yeah, Sedalia Sage Gorman. Mhm.
Hi, my name's Andrew Hyatt, and I am a sophomore here at Phoenix High School. If I had a magic wand, one thing that I would change, or not necessarily change, but add to the school that I know we've had in the past, is opportunity for kids to come in after school and get help from teachers and still have a way to get home if they don't. So like a bus, to be able to take them. I think that would really be able to help kids better learn and understand what they're being taught. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we have Joseph online.
Hi, my name's Joseph Hyatt. I apologize I couldn't be there in person. I had a family emergency. My grandpa needed help, and so I had to leave for a little bit. If I could change anything in the district, I think a better path to graduation. Like, we have really great staff, and they all do their best to help us. I just don't feel like we have, I know among my senior class, I'm a senior, there's a little bit of confusion of like pirate points and how to get those turned in and some things you need to do to graduate. And I feel like maybe we have advisory, and I feel like that would be a really good way to implement ways to prepare for graduation and have it be more of throughout your 4 years of high school as opposed to maybe a rush in senior year. And so I think that if we were able to have like more help with clarifying requirements for graduation and help getting towards those goals, and I think that would really help our students and have less stress on them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sure, you can ask a question. You got
Okay.
brothers.
Madam Chair, are we missing a couple of
Well,
students?
that's what I was just going to clarify. There's two applications in. Toby, can you? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice all of a sudden. Yes, Matthew Jenkins and Dakota Truelove are both absent. Okay, so now go ahead, Michael. Did you have something? Now I propose that we take a short break and have a little talk about who we're going to vote for, right? Is that, yeah. We will leave the room. We will be right back, and we thank you so much, and we will tell you who is going to be the student rep.
And they are welcome to the refreshments in the back
Yes.
table. So the Sodexo cookies are back.
Oh, they're so good. So please get a refreshment, some water, and maybe stand up and move around a bit. We'll be right back. Oh, thank you, Michael. We are returning from our discussion, and we thank you all for your responses. They were all great, and we appreciate you all coming. So the three that we have chosen are Sedalia, Joseph, and Ruby. Those who we did not pick, there is sometimes opportunities. I know last year some of the student representatives that applied did not make student rep, but then they were involved in the SIA process, and there's some other student involvement that we have. And so we will make sure that when the opportunity comes up, we will reach out to you. If you have any questions, you can ask, and if not, you can go back to your classroom, and congratulations. Yes, and we look forward to having you on our board.
We didn't introduce Denise Skinner, but it's the board secretary, and she'll be reaching out to the reps with information on that. So
And
congratulations.
Just to the next topic, we're still kind of staying on the student rep. We're going to talk about having some board members possibly mentoring those student reps. And it's the first time we've ever done that. And so we've talked about it at our study session, and we're talking about it. We're going to talk about that now. So if you want to stay until that conversation is over, you can, but if you'd like to leave now, you can as well. So thank you. Yes. Did you want to add anything, Sarah? No. Okay. We're going to talk about the mentorship. We talked about that at our work session. I sent you guys, I apologize for sending that out so late. My computer had a virus, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious, not today, but it didn't care. So we had talked about that. So I guess I'll just leave it open to discussion on who wants to be student rep and a student mentor, and what do we all think that should look like. And I know this is going to be the first time, and there's going to be bumps, but like we've discussed before, you've got to start and then perfect along the way.
I thought Brent had a great suggestion that it was the role of the vice chair to be the school board liaison mentor. And I know Michael has expressed an interest in that. So, and I feel like he would be a really good person for that. So. And I think just looking at what other school districts have done and then figuring it out for ourselves, it's a new process, and also hearing from the students who are representatives. I think we'll figure it out kind of along the way and provide as much support. Obviously, we're not throwing you out there in the deep end, but I think with your experience now in 2 different districts, there's a wealth of information, and we're here for you. That's my vote.
I appreciate it. Were we thinking about having just one liaison for all 3 representatives?
I don't remember. I apologize. I don't remember what we talked about. I think we kind of left it open in the air, but when I re-looked through that, most of the schools have done just one representative. We can ask the student reps that we have appointed what they would like, if they would like a student mentor, and if they would like just one. I think one would be easier, because then you're not trying, you can just do it all at once, and they're getting the same information, and one's not getting more information than the other. So I think it would be more fair to have just one, but that's my opinion.
Also know the student reps, you don't have to reach out to only that. If you have a question and you can't get a hold of Michael, or you can ask a question of any of us. It's not like the only person on the board that you can talk to. It's the board mentor or liaison.
So basically the board mentor liaison would just have a conversation with you and kind of help get you started and let you know how the board packet works. Denise would help and kind of answer some questions prior, and then they would check in with you throughout the year. But like Sarah said, you can ask any of us. I know in the past when we've had in person, people would stick around and then they would ask questions to whoever, and it seems like we kind of got a connection, and they would feel more comfortable with one board member over another, and that seemed to work out good.
I would suggest that when Denise contacts them, that she provides all of our contact information so they can reach out to us as well.
I might just add too, Mr. Walker is a great resource on board kind of prep as well, and especially when you're that first time when you give kind of a student representative report, and same with Mr. Waite and Mr. Earhart. So that's a good resource as well.
Oh yes, they're amazing. Any other discussion about this? Okay. Well, it looks, Michael, are you okay with?
I would love to do it. Yeah. So, and I think, you know, that might be a good thing going forward when we think about the July meeting. Just knowing that that's part of the responsibilities of the vice chair when that person is voted in, and then it just can become part of that whole thing. So, yeah, but I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and having you represent the student body at our meetings. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to the guiding principles now. If you guys would like to leave, you can. If you'd like to stay, I think Mr. Walker's ready for you guys to get back to class.
I think the people in charge would like them in class. Yeah.
I can tell.
There was kind of a hovering one.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. Okay, moving on to the guiding principles. We discussed them last time and had a little bit of an Denise or Brent or whoever, thank you very much, move them to, and so I will open that up for discussion.
We went back and forth a little bit about whether to move the red language to the bullet point before, and I don't know, did we ever get to the end of that conversation?
Well, that's why it got moved.
I know, so I just thought I would remind us where we all were and see what we wanted to do.
I personally think it fits better there, but we can open that discussion. This is a perfect time to talk about it before we make a motion on the priorities.
This is one that I haven't presented.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
And I have no objection to adding the red language to it.
Perfect, thank you. Any other discussion? Does anyone want to make a motion on our board priorities? Or guiding principles?
I move approval of the board guiding principles for 2021-2022 as presented.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Polly. So we'll take this to a vote. Nancy? Rebecca?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Polly?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Guiding principles passes. It's scheduled for recess, but since we kind of took a break, do we need to do one? Moving on to facilities and bond update.
Yeah, we are reaching the end of the renovation and offer the board a tour after, if you have time in your schedules. It is looking amazing in the renovation, and so really happy to be able to utilize that space. And Phoenix Elementary is going to be finishing up as well, as Principal Schleif shared that they've moved into the gym already, and the cafeteria or the kitchen should be done in the next week or so. So really looking forward to those projects wrapping up, and they're looking amazing. I also might add, as we had our weekly meeting, and many of you were involved in this process, this building was built at $340 a square foot, and projects now that are to this magnitude are looking at $600 or $700 a square foot. And so the timing was impeccable. It was just incredible. I think the voters can be proud, and the good news with the tax rate as well. Just really proud of maximizing that dollar. So I was astonished. I was astonished at $340 a square foot, and then to hear what it's happening now, we are very, very, very fortunate. So.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the financial report.
Oh, I apologize.
Oh.
I was able to take a tour of Phoenix Elementary with the Bond Oversight Committee last week. Thank you, John, for the tour. And I was impressed to know that the air exchange in the room happens 6 to 8 times per hour.
Oh.
And seeing the new windows and I didn't see the new insulation, but I was told that there is now insulation in the arm kind of building that comes out where there had been no insulation or very limited insulation previously. So we're looking forward to obviously increased energy savings, and all of the ducting is hidden in the roof. If any of you had been at Phoenix Elementary in those rooms, the ducting was below the roof. So now it's actually like tucked up under the tile where you're not seeing and hearing all of that. So, and then I did get to see the new cafeteria and John really talking about how to maximize the space for Stex on there. So really, really looking good at Phoenix Elementary.
Thank you. Anything else about facilities and bond before I move to financial?
Oh, and John found $600,000, right?
We were able to utilize some funds that we spent on some Sodexo and kitchen supplies that we purchased out of bond, and we had some in our partnership with Sodexo. We were able to use some of those funding, so that went back into the bond dollars for unallocated contingency. So that's again maximizing our dollars and leveraging every funding opportunity that we have. So thanks for bringing that up. That's good.
Thank you. Okay, financial update.
That pool is 5.6 million, so it's we're 5 million away, but
600,000 more towards the pool.
no, and I don't even know if that's the right number, but audit is next week, so our auditors who we've had a long-standing partnership with will be next week, and Jasmine and her team in the business department is really just working hard to gather all the information to be able to present that to them. As you know, there was just a number of funding opportunities, and so millions of dollars in summer school opportunities that we really took advantage of, and some other funding. So really just proud of her and her team. And when we get closer to setting that meeting, we'll need that audit committee. And I know we talked about that a little bit later. So when we get that date, we will ask for representatives and to sit through the audit.
I had already volunteered to join Rick on that. I don't know if you have that, Denise, but and I'm assuming you're going to be on it, right, Rick? I hope so. Okay. Okay.
No, definitely.
Okay.
Our expert. Thank you very much. Moving on to legislation and OSBA update. As you guys saw, the regional meeting is now online, sadly. They are still doing it. It is going to be hopefully more of a listening session and feedback than what it has been in the past. Sarah will hopefully be able to give a few minutes on why she would be an excellent LPC representative, and I hope that she does great. I know she will. And then I joined they had a board cafe for board members in Oregon. Not everyone showed up. There was only about 20 of us, but it was nice to kind of toss ideas around and just kind of see what everyone else is doing. The same things, the mandates, managing day-to-day with teachers and subs, and just pretty much everything what we're going through. So a lot of people had some good ideas. Some we talked about sports, and Dave filled me in about the Skyline Conference thing that we're hosting, and because some schools are having difficulty times with the way students are acting on during sports. So I think again we shine through, and I shared some great ideas that we were doing, and hopefully we'll be having a board cafe every month. And that is all that I have for now on that.
Go ahead. I sat in on Pam Marsh's
Oh yes, thank you, Sarah.
housing, manufactured housing forum last night, and it was really fantastic, and lots of great agencies on there. And her goal is to really centralize all of the information. And it sounds like access is really the one that is the point of contact for any Almeda fire survivor who's looking for help in purchasing a manufactured home. And it sounds like there is a lot of money and opportunity for home ownership back in those parks. Lots of money from the bill that Pam Marsh spearheaded for wildfire relief, and lots of really great opportunities. So hopefully those parks will start getting full again with families, even to the point of there's the one I was most intrigued by was a 10-year loan that ends up being forgiven if you stay for 10 years. So really, really great opportunities for families to be able to come back into the community. So access, that's who you need to talk to. All the access is going to have all the information.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Anything else on legislation? I just remembered we did not talk about ADM. We were going to start talking about that more. There should be a story coming out soon about why it's important to the districts that this would support. So watch out for that. And I believe that we'll start hitting the ground running soon with the other districts. Brent shaking his head on what we can do so that the legislators know how important this is and how vital it is to our students. Brent, did you want to add anything to that? Any other questions on legislation? Okay, moving to the Almeda fire update.
Access. And thank you for bringing that up, because they're going to be a major player in the Gateway project for, families that transition into that space, and really being a kind of conduit to permanent housing. And so they are amazing organization and getting ready to really transition families into a permanent housing situation and model, which is really exciting. So, and as you said, the state of Oregon is really committed and funded this project for our families. So there's a lot of hope there.
Anything else?
You may have gotten an email from John Lagarza regarding the ribbon cutting for the Gateway project, which is kind of our that's a project I'm particularly proud of, because I didn't have a lot to do with it, but just being there from the beginning and seeing it come to fruition, and then knowing that we're actually having families move in there is pretty rewarding and incredible. And so thankful for the city and the Talent Urban Renewal Agency for helping make that a possibility. So I know Brent said he's going to unfortunately be out of town, so I'm hoping to go. My grandma's coming in that weekend, but maybe I'll drag her with me. Who knows? But yeah, if you can make it, that would be great to have representation from the board and the district to celebrate that momentous ribbon cutting. Big deal.
Yeah, we'll get it October 30th, and we'll get you the time on that and forward that invitation. And I think John has a sign-up sheet too, so they know kind of how many people to expect. Also want to recognize Tracy Koa, who is our student and family engagement liaison, who is really helping families fill out applications to get the Rogue Retreat to start solidifying that process. And she is out and about every day. That application came live earlier in the week, and has been very busy doing that. So we've also put it out to our schools. If sometimes our frontline staff in the office or teachers or hear of families that maybe still doubled up, tripled up in trailers, in hotels, to make sure that we get that information to them as well.
Thank you. Anything else before we move on? The intra-district transfer report. Brent?
Yeah, you'll see this. It's actually, you might notice that there's a tremendous number transfer in, which is always what we like. We have asked, even though our families that lost their homes and are living outside of our district, even though they didn't need an official inter-district transfer this year, that we know the districts are being very lenient on this. And so we've asked those families to fill that form out this year rather than wait till when it's required next year. And then, so that is a large number of families. And then as you see, we have most of our transfer outs have to do with childcare, especially at the younger grades. I'm hopeful that in the future we will have a preschool childcare in our district boundaries like Talent to be able to really get that families established in our where they reside. So it's good numbers, but just I wanted to be honest on a lot of them reflect the students that have lost their homes that are continuing to be in our schools.
Thank you. Any questions?
I had one question for you, and that's how many were of that 112 were returning?
Yeah, and I know you were going to ask that, and we'll get that specific number. Okay. When we were kind of going through that, just off of the top of our head, we were looking at 70 to 75% of that. So, okay. So which will give you kind of a comparison of where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the Ptra Mascot.
Yeah, Mr. Santi mentioned this, and he rose again and flew out of here. But the Phoenix is being proposed for the mascot, and it doesn't necessarily need board approval, but just wanted to kind of get the blessing as they're continuing to do some artwork and get that on board. That was pretty exciting for the kids who voted on that mascot. So just wanted to kind of share that, and we didn't hear any objection to it, but just wanted to give the board one more kind of blessing and look forward to that school having a mascot moving forward.
Who's helping them design it? Is maybe PHS or the kids themselves, or are they doing it their own selves?
Yeah, I think Mr. Santi said that the kids are having a contest or they're doing that together. So, and pretty talented kids, as you know, in the art world in our district.
I just think if that's what Aaron wants, Aaron should have it.
Okay. Any other discussion? I can't wait to see it. I think it will be awesome no matter what. And it's always great to see what the kids come up with. Moving on to Coal Mine Road.
Yeah, we have, as I mentioned in my superintendent report, potential buyer that we'll continue to have discussions with, and we will hopefully have something for the board to consider at our next meeting. We originally put this on the information and discussion because it was going to be a discussion on listing the property. We've had it just for sale by owner, and since we've put the property up for sale, so that was the initial discussion. I would say that we recommend to the board that we pause that and see how this sale progresses. We will know they're proposing shorter timelines and things of that nature. We'll get the details to the board though, but it looks like a solid enough deal to move forward on that we can handle ourselves with Thad's expertise. So that's what, if we have something for the board to consider, that'll be on the action item for next time.
Thank you guys for all that hard work. I know that it's one more thing on your plate and one more thing that you've had to learn this last year's real estate, but we appreciate it.
And it is, and it's about relationships. Denise has been communicating with us. I think there's a mutual respect there. And so Denise has been working really hard on communicating with potential buyers. So thanks, Denise.
And Denise is pretty self-deprecating, but she has a real estate background, and that's been really helpful too. So thank you for that, Denise, and that's been a hidden gem that we've benefited from. So thanks for that.
Okay, moving on to the OSBA board policy rewrite. I will start that off. I looked at the first section came in. It's huge. It looks overwhelming when you first see it, but I believe there's 90 policies that will be that are just delete. So that's easy. There's a lot of policies that are just adding an S, changing the capital, really simple things. There are some that are a little bit more in depth, but not too much. So I'm wondering, and I want to bring this up to discussion, if we did section by section, went through information discussion, try to send them out a little earlier than typical, and go through them once a board meeting. We have 12 months, but we have to, if we have any rewrites on any of these or questions, we need to do that within the 12 months. So it might be prudent to do it and have extra time in case there's some policies that we may want to have to ask OSBA about. But I'm open to suggestions, but that was my thinking, is you do section by section information discussion, and then we would bring them in as in the consent agenda, not each policy, because that would be like a meeting that would be till midnight. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be here till midnight.
So when you say by section, you're talking about, so we would start with
Section
BHH and then CAA and then.
So you do section, she has them out. I just had that up. So it's like section A, B, section C, section D. Correct, Denise? Yeah.
And there's 90 total, or just 90 that will be deleted?
90 policies total that will be deleted because they're outdated and they have been replaced.
350 on the rewrite? Or there's 350 total policies that we have? We have 350 policies to take some action on.
That's only the first half. So the second half would probably be at least 300 and some odd policies. And as you can tell, we took off some of the policies that have just come for this month are in that rewrite. So Brent and I decided not to add those and do those. We would just do those in the rewrite because that would be kind of silly to adopt them and then adopt them in a rewrite.
Have you mathed? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I might just remind, and some of you may not have been in the discussion on why this is important for the board and why OSBA has this service. But as you know, we have some policies that are really outdated, 90 that have been recommended for delete since, not sure how long. But this really cleans up our policies going forward. It will not change the way we update policies on a quarterly basis when we get that service from the OSBA. This is something that has gone through OSBA Council and really gets us up to date rather than having board policies that may have been last adopted in 1981. And so it's something that this board has discussed for a while and really gets us up to speed moving forward, to just remind people of the conversation or share that if you haven't heard that before.
A lot of the policies have similar policies in other sections. So is it possible as we're going through to take care of the ones that would be connected to it? Does that make sense?
Well, I will speak up and then Denise can say,
Yeah.
the way that OSBA did the policies is not that way. They've done them in PDF form, and all like, you know, a PDF of A through D with like 100 and whatever.
It was overwhelming.
So to go through and sort that, I think would be a huge task for someone, and then trying to divide them off the way that the PDF is. I see your logic, but that's a lot more work to it, I believe.
I would suggest that you make, and by the way, thanks for still sitting in your seat, Denise. So I know that would have been a huge deal. So, but I think what I would suggest is that you just make notes. If there's something that it'll reference another policy, go to that section if there's any notes that you want when that comes up. So.
And when we
do my own homework, don't put it on Denise. That's what you're saying. I appreciate that.
Yes. And when we pass these, if something comes up later where we're like, hey, we want to relook at this one, we can. And we can always pull a policy out and say, okay, we need to retalk this through OSBA or give it a little bit more attention. But in most of them, like I said, a majority of them are deleting or just changing, or sometimes on the bottom of the policies, it will cite like an ORS of why we have it, and the ORS they updated the ORS or changed it, and so it's sometimes just a footnote that's been changed. So when you get the first PDF, it's going to be like, oh my goodness gracious, but once you kind of look at it for a minute, it's not as bad as you might think it is.
So the section thing sounds like a good idea, but just thinking about, we have a year and the number of meetings that we have within that year. Have we reversed engineer it to see that we could accomplish that within the time frame that we have? In other words, we have 12 meetings, so we need to have X number of policies per meeting, just to make sure that we can get through them all. Or
so I might just jump in here. We essentially looked at trying to do one a month, and I think there's a total of 9 sections. The first one, A and B, is together, which will be probably the largest portion section, and then the others aren't quite as big, but there's 9, and so we feel like we can get through that if we do that one a month, and then we can have a little bit of time at the end to meet the deadline.
Okay, perfect, great.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we will be getting the first.
Good job.
We will be getting the first A/B section soon, correct, Denise? Tomorrow. She has it on her calendar. She's so efficient. So
I just want to say this is one of those projects that is so incredibly important, but gets kicked down the road for decades. And so I just want to commend. I don't remember if we took action on this, but the decision to take this on is an important one. It's, we're doing ourselves a favor and future boards and anybody involved with the school system a favor by taking this on and just getting it done. It's important work, and I'm here for it. So whatever it takes, excited to get it done because it's important, but it's so easy to put off. So thanks for making it happen.
So just to clarify too, there's going to be some times, where there is green language where staff will suggest. So that you'll get a document that may not have that complete, but the first time we do the information and discussion, we'll share staff language, and Jessica and Tiffany are hearing this for the first time right now, that section A and B will be up first for green language. So.
okay, thank you. Anything else on this? Okay, we will move on. The draft for the next meeting, for the November 4th meeting, is in your packet. If you would like to add anything, you can ask for it now, or you can contact me or Brent. We will be meeting, I don't know when, a week before the 4th. And so probably next week. Next Wednesday, we will most likely be meeting, and you can to set the agenda. So if you have any questions or want to add anything, you can do it then. Nancy?
Can we add that EDI update? It's been dropped off. And want to make sure it continues to stay on.
I put it on my notes. So because we just got an update from the co-facilitators.
Yes.
And so I would like to hear that. So thank you, Nancy, for reminding
We also need student report on here.
Yep.
us. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to say. Okay, with that, thank you so much. It was so great having a semi in-person meeting. I appreciate everybody's time and have a good afternoon.